What's up everyone, this is NyhlekDreams and we're back with another video, this one being on a little bit of a different topic as the ones we've been doing recently. I know we're in the Hero Rework, but we've got a weapon that we're going to be doing today and we're going to take a look at the Vindertech Pulsar. It does tie into the Hero Rework a little bit. The reason I wanted to do a video on the Vindertech Pulsar is because it was a great fit for Rio. But before we get into it, I want to give a huge thank you to Andrew Corpus. He's actually the reason that I had the idea anyways and decided to go ahead and max out this weapon. But let's go ahead and hop right into this, and you're going to be using a standard First Shot Rio loadout here. Nothing's changed. It's the same support team, the same team perk, anything that you would normally run on Rio. It's going to be that, just with the Vindertech Pulsar. And we'll head over to the schematics and look at the build that we're going to be using, which is the same as what you would want to run on a Hydra, Hammer Crush, or Rat King for Rio. It's double crit damage, reload speed, and damage to miss monsters and bosses. Since you get the 100% crit chance after your reload, you want to reload as quick as possible, and since you're guaranteed those crits, you're going to want to stack as much crit damage as possible. And if you don't happen to have the Vindertech Pulsar yet, you can head over to the collection book. It is available in llamas since they added it to the base game schematics, and if you want to just recruit it directly from the book, you can go down to the ranged Vindertech weapons and it'll be under the Vindertech Pulse rifles here. But with that, let's go ahead and get right into the gameplay and see how well this thing performs. Since you're going for crits off of the first 6 shots in the magazine for Rio's buff, you're only going to be using the first 2 bursts after a reload, as this is where you're really going to maximize your damage potential and trying to hit those crits as often as possible. So one thing you'll really notice is that you're going to be reloading more often than you would with the Hydra and the Rat King or Hammer Crush, as you can get your full 6 shots and you'll shoot 6 times before you have to reload there, but you have a shorter reload here with the Vindertech Pulsar due to it only doing the 2 bursts, and then that's all of your crits filtered out. So some people might actually notice that they prefer the Hydra, the Rat King, or the Hammer Crush, but if you're someone like me, you're often looking for a gun to switch up your playstyle and allow you a different gameplay experience, and the Pulsar definitely did it for me. It's always been an interest point in a weapon that I wanted to be able to use it, but it never pulled enough damage, so being able to see it perform so equally on terms of the Hammer Crush, the Hydra, and the Rat King, it's nice to be able to actually have something that will perform in this class with Rio that can stay up to par against the other kind of weapon sets. Watching it perform with a high damage burst capacity and seeing it melt through miss monsters' health like smashers after just a few bursts really gave it a satisfying feel to me to be able to use a weapon that I've always kind of liked but not been able to put into any loadout. So it's nice to see some variety gameplay and being able to use some weapons that didn't get any notice or attention prior to the Hero Rework. They kind of work well with heroes in their loadouts now. And one thing that I did with my Vindertech Pulsar is instead of going with a condition, I did go for the miss monster damage and have the headshot explosions so that you could actually have that AoE group clear potential once you kill anything with a headshot. It just does a burst damage to anything in the area surrounding it, so it's nice to have somewhat of a group clear as well as a high single target damage potential. And another interesting thing is that this kind of opens the door for other burst weapons like the Deathstalker and the Lynx. I've always had an interest in these weapons, but they were never able to really match performance against the full auto assault rifles, but this gives those other burst weapons a chance to come out and shine. And I've always wanted to use the Lynx when it came out as well, but it never really performed with a high damage output, so this might allow for those weapons to kind of make an appearance and see more people using those on Rio as well. But different things that could allow for new playstyles like these burst weapons with Rio here, opening up for different heroes that might give us a look at some of the weapons we didn't give a chance before, come through and be a powerhouse for some existing loadouts that we might not be aware of. And I personally hope for some of these weapons to unfold and allow a diverse gameplay that we never saw before, driving that fun factor back into the game and being able to experiment with the things that we haven't seen. But that's about it for this one, guys. I really had fun with the Pulsar here, and since the release of the Vindertech weapons back in November of 2017, around that time, I always had a liking for the Vindertech Pulsar and really just wish that there was a use for it. It didn't seem to pull that much damage back then, but I'm glad to see that I can implement it now and have some fun with it since it's got some nice damage on Rio. Let me know what you guys think in the comments, any likes or dislikes about the weapon, and I'm interested to see what you all have to say. Thank you all again for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.